Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Revving, and it's been about 2 weeks with the GT500, and so I think that's enough to warrant a little update video. Mainly also because when I bought the car 2 weeks ago, it had 900 miles, so it wasn't past its break-in period. Obviously, on my drive back, in case you guys didn't watch the video, I bought it in San Antonio, brought it back to North Austin, and so I brought it past its break-in period, but still I didn't want to romp on it too much on its factory oil. So now about 900 miles later in just 2 weeks and an oil change, I think in this video we're going to go ahead and step on it just a little bit more without getting in too much trouble. With that said, though, in 2 weeks I certainly got to know it a lot more, and I just figured I'd kind of give you guys some impressions. We'll go on another drive and have some fun with it because, again, I'm just on my, it's been 2 weeks, but still obviously going to be on my honeymoon phase, and so I got to make a lot of videos with it. A lot more videos planned for sure. You guys are saying I should compare it with the SVT GT500 and the GT350 2017. That's all coming. Those are two different videos, certainly. I might kind of talk on them a little bit here just from impressions I picked up on. Now, in case you guys are new around here and didn't see that original video, yeah, just a little over 2 weeks ago, picked up this 2021 GT500, and it's a car that I've been seeking since like 2019, but no dealership would ever sell me one for MSRP, let me order it, all that. So they announced that they're no longer going to make them, and so I had to start looking pre-owned, started kind of expanding my, you know, what I would accept as far as the color scheme. Ended up going with an Oxford white with the painted Kona blue stripes on the carbon fiber track pack, and I liked it initially right away, of course, but now after 2 weeks, I'm in love with this color scheme. Again, it wasn't my first choice, but now that I have it, I kind of want it no other way, so I guess that's a good place to be. Let's go ahead and step out real quickly while it's in my driveway before we go for a drive and kind of, I don't know, just do a little walk around, a little bit of an update on everything I learned about the car. And all that good stuff. The funny thing is, this is not a new design, obviously, the S550 Mustang, but especially the GT500, you know, we saw it back in 2019. And the funny thing is, back in 2019, I didn't think it looked bad. I certainly wanted it at the time. But ultimately, as far as the carbon fiber track pack, I just thought it looked like a Mustang with a big intake up front, big heat extractor, and a big wing. I didn't really think much of it other than that. But now that time's gone on and I've seen others on the road, and I've seen this one every day for the last 2 weeks, it's its own thing. It's such a cohesive design, and everyone kind of says the same thing. They just say it looks like a race car. So that's kind of the immature way to put it, and I never really grew up, so that's fine by me. But in short, if you haven't been able to tell just by how excited I am to talk about it, zero regrets. This was kind of done on impulse. As I said in that video, the GT500 part, not so much, but the fact of buying this one just kind of, I don't know, as quick as I did, that was more impulsive. So, you know, I definitely don't want to regret it, but 2 weeks later, far from it. I've never rode in this generation GT500 before buying this, but certainly based off everything I heard, I knew I was in a pretty good place to buy this type of car. And so as far as my expectations, they were set extremely, extremely high. And I'm glad to say they're actually not even met, they're like exceeded in every single way. I guess in a word is just how sophisticated it feels. I said that from like my first 2 days with it on my on that first video I made, but just how sophisticated it is. It's not just a Mustang with a lot of power and a big wing. It's way, way beyond that. But just the fact that it's still in the Mustang DNA and it feels this sophisticated is just kind of crazy. So that definitely exceeded my expectations. What's funny about this particular color scheme, the Kona blue stripes actually look black almost all the time. Everyone kind of assumes it's black. When light hits it just right, and you know what, even this overcast lighting is not doing it. I'll show some pictures, but that Kona blue is really, really dark. Yeah, it just looks black more often than it doesn't, but it's kind of cool in the fact that it's kind of not quite color changing, but definitely gives you a unique perspectives depending on the lighting. Go ahead and start up here. So of the near 900 miles I put on it in the last 2 weeks, I would say 95% of the time it's been in track mode. What I like to do is I just go in here, go cycle through the modes, put it into track here. But then what I do is I come down to the suspension and pop it down to sport, take it off track because that's just too stiff for the street. And that's how I've been driving it, and I put it in manual mode just to kind of play with the paddle shifters. They're a lot of fun. So 95% of the time it's been that way, and I love it. However, what I learned is this thing, minus maybe one thing we'll talk about, this thing is a great daily driver. Now, if I wanted to, let's go ahead and put it into normal mode right here. And then I still like the sport steering, so let's go into that, and then normal suspension, everything else just like that. Now, if I let it just shift on its own, I just put it in drive, not press manual. This thing drives unbelievably just easy. Like anybody could drive this thing, no problem. A really good sound system. I'm immature. I just crank the bass all the way up. And when I connect my phone, not through the radio, I just connect my Bluetooth and play stuff from my phone. Sounds really, really good. And so when I'm not shifting on my own, if I'm just driving nice and leisure, And it's just cool. It's just a good cruiser. I like to just listen to good music. And then if I put it in track mode, start shifting myself, it's so involving. So, and unbelievably two-faced. I expected that going in. I just didn't think it was gonna be that good. And it's that good. I almost forgot to mention the one thing that I would kind of nick in the whole daily drivability thing. And of course, this is not me complaining about it. This is no surprise. It's a GT500 at the end of the day. I knew this right here would be the issue. That you could visually see drained real time as you step on it. Okay, so I mean, if you're daily driving it and you're driving it kind of like, you know, without a lead foot, I don't know how good of the fuel economy you can get. I'm not even measuring right now. I'm sure there's a way I could check in the gauges. All I know is in 900 miles, I've gone to the gas station. I lost count at least 5 up to 6, maybe 7 times. It just absolutely drains the gas tank. Now, part of that is also because it's a small tank. It's 16 gallons. It's just, that's the only thing. You're going to be meeting a lot of people at the gas station. That's for sure. Now, for the sake of this video, I say we just go ahead and leave it in normal mode. We'll put it in drive, and I'll show you guys just how easy it is, just, you know, as a good daily driver. And I promise we won't spend too much time in this mode. We'll have some fun. But just so I said, I showed y'all. So hopefully you guys can hear the shifts, or at least you can see it on the left there. It doesn't, you know, buck or sway or anything like that. It's going through the gears. I mean, already we're in 5th, about to be into 6th. Yeah, just, and again, I could even make the exhaust even quieter, but why do that? But yeah, it's just a car you don't have to put a lot of effort in if you don't want to. But still, the view out the back is awesome with that wing there. Get a little bit of the wing there, a little bit of the wing there. It's just such a cool view looking out. But yeah, it just doesn't feel that crazy. Obviously, you'd expect that in the normal mode. Here it is downshifting, no bucking or anything. So I think that's enough to prove the point though. Let's go ahead and do this. Switch it over to track. Hit OK, knowing what we're doing. Gotcha. Go back into sport suspension. And we're gonna go ahead and go into manual. So that's the way I've been driving it, but just to prove to you, it could be a pussycat if you needed it to be. In general, this transmission is very good. It's very fast. But the one thing to know about it is the speed of which it shifts totally depends on how much gas you put down. So just to prove my point real quickly, let's get past the cyclist so we don't scare them real quick. And I'm gonna drop a couple gears. We're in 7th right now. Let's go down to 4th. That proves the point. Now I'm gonna get on the gas a little bit and then get off, and then watch how slow it is to shift when I'm off the gas. There it goes. It's very slow if I'm off the gas. Here we go again, I'll go off the gas. Very slow. However, if I put just a little bit of gas, it gets quicker. Still not crazy fast, but just here's a little bit of gas. Little quicker, little quicker. If I put down even 20% throttle or more, it's gonna be very, very quick. The downshifts are always fast, by the way, but just something I learned. So here we go again. So now let's go down to 2nd gear because there's no one behind me. And I'm gonna put like, let's say, I don't know, just under half throttle. Very quick, so it makes sense. So it's a little bit slower if you have just a little bit of gas, like 10%, and it's very slow if you have no gas. But why you would shift up while not putting any gas down makes no sense to me. It's just something I learned as far as the programming. So what I learned about this car is, yes, the performance is there, it's insane. But again, I'm gonna save the comparisons with the SVT GT500 for that video. But another thing I'll say is this car on paper shouldn't be all that much faster than the SVT GT500. It's got 98 horsepower more, the torque's about the same, but it weighs way more. The difference is just the accessibility, I guess, of the performance. It just puts it down way more, way better than I thought it would. And of course, I knew I was going to enjoy the paddle shifters. That's why I bought the car. I just didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much. Again, manual all the way when given the option, but I just thought to myself, to be able to have this much fun with paddle shifters, you had to spend at least $250,000, whether it was a GT3, GT3 RS, freaking Huracan Performante was a good time from what I remember. But this, for the money, again, when I say for the money, for a Mustang it's expensive, but for what it offers you, I don't know. I've driven some cool stuff, and this is far from boring in, you know, perspective to that. Another thing I'll say is, a lot of times I hear people say that they wouldn't spend the money on one of these cars because at the end of the day, it's still a Mustang, and so people would see it as a Mustang. If you guys are subscribed, this sounds very familiar to something I said about the GT350 years ago. People don't want to buy either a 350 or a 500 because it's still a Mustang to people. And for those people, yeah, it is the wrong car for them if they're trying to do something for status or just for what's going to get the reactions. Because the fact of the matter is, for the price of this car, you can get some pre-owned Ferrari. It's going to give you that status of Ferrari or whatever for just under 6 figures. And why would you spend the 6 figures on a Mustang then? But it's, for me, it's not so much about what it might say to other people that see you on the road. It's just about the actual drive itself. And for the money, I think it's kind of tough to find this kind of drive. Don't get me wrong, it definitely gets some attention, but when it gets attention, it's the right attention. It's someone who knows what a Shelby is, or knows what the GT500 is, or something like that, or they just know something cool. So yeah, that argument I never understood. Oh, why spend that when you could get more attention with something else? That's never really been important to me. Literally almost on cue, but I wasn't recording. That guy over there in that truck had to wait for me to pull up so he can give me the thumbs up. So again, the reactions it does get is pretty cool. It's people who either like American cars or just Shelbys, or I don't even know, but it gets some attention, certainly even from non-car people. And they don't need to know how much it was. It's not a status thing. Again, that's the one thing, you know, I could always complain about something, but the one thing about the car world, a lot of it's about like status, or I don't know. I won't get too far into it, but sometimes it's just about being a proper enthusiast, and sometimes that gets lost. Anyway, guys, that's a short look at it. I know there should have been more driving, but tell you what, here within the next couple weeks, we'll do like a fun point of view drive or something like that. Make sure it's on a windy road in the hill country. We'll make it fun, but I just thought I'd kind of get back on camera real quickly, tell you guys that it's been a little over 2 weeks, and I'm head over heels in love with the thing, and I'm just so glad. Put it this way, the very best impulse purchase I've ever made. Absolutely love it. And for those of you guys that are living vicariously and enthusiastic about it as well, thanks so much. All the kind words on the last video means a lot. So definitely going to make a lot more videos with it here very soon. Now let me know though what kind of videos you guys want to see. If you guys have any questions I didn't really address in either video, let me know. But that does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.